Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Golden Opportunities Coaching YouTube channel. Welcome to those of you who are new. Also, this is the Pro Wrestling Logic YouTube channel where we discuss a variety of pro wrestling related topics. Old school, new school, all points in between. Nearly 2,500 of these for your listening pleasure. This is the WCW Saturday Night Edition for the 20th of um, 20th of October 1990. And so we kind of go into the um, uh, Renegade Warriors and then tag match. Um, and again, they're with Allen Iron Eagle, and they are in a relatively basic squash match here. Do not know much about them as a unit, but basically they're doing the old Tatanka style run there, and ultimately a couple of the ring lords facing off against them. Really basic match: punch, kick, chop, chop, and a couple of body slams along the way. The Renegade Warriors are the Youngblood brothers, I believe. Of course, Allen, Iron Eagle also there. The Freebirds out and trying to create distractions for the benefit of the heels, and it's a pretty basic run there. Freebirds, of course, going to face the Renegade Warriors at the pay-per-view. Also, Michael Hayes putting on a little bit of extra war paint. Little Richard Marley out there, and the match is super simple. Nothing to write home about. If you want basic tag psychology, though, it's good for that. And obviously, the hot tag to one of the Renegade Warriors. Renegade Warriors eventually, fire back with a couple drop kicks and some other basic maneuvers, getting things going in their general direction. Pump kick and some basic stuff here, and ultimately getting things going in a positive direction there, and sliding things through, getting things going, and finally, after the match, we see a layout from Jimmy Garvin. Jimmy Garvin, of course, having a good run here, and ultimately managing to get what they want out of things there. And so, it's pretty simple. Again, um, the brawling of the Freebirds. Of course, Freebirds follow up with a short squash match of their own. Jimmy Garvin and Michael Hayes. Bob Starr, I believe, one of the enhancement talent guys. Michael Hayes is phenomenal. Jimmy Garvin at this point probably a little step or two slower, but they are pushing towards their pay-per-view match. Double DDT is what finishes the match from the Freebirds. Freebirds in pretty consistent control, and then we go to a promo and confrontation between the Youngbloods and the Freebirds, basically modified fake war paint from the Freebirds gets under the skin of the Youngbloods and the Renegade Warriors Youngbloods, and there's that WWN area. Basically, the Steiners cut a promo on the Nasty Boys saying that they'll be meaner and nastier than the Nasty Boys ever thought of being over the U.S. Tag Team titles at the pay-per-view. Paul Heyman talks about Lex Luger and Stan Hansen at the pay-per-view. Again, Paul Heyman, a.k.a. Paulie Dangerously, super talented at the time, having done a major run in 1989 in through 1990. Heyman, in the WCW run, probably some of his best work, even though I know a lot of people like his modern-day stuff. Going back, if you're not a fan from that era or you're a younger fan, whatever have you. Dutch Mantel and Terry Taylor up next. Terry Taylor, of course, the former Red Rooster, coming off of his involvement with the WWF, probably ending in the summer. Dutch Mantel, mainstay in Memphis and that general area, but managing to come back a little bit here. Anyway, Mantel kind of holding on to Taylor's arm a good bit and ultimately getting things going in his general direction, and some, hip tosses. Mantel drops the knee. Very basic, very simple, and ultimately managing to get things there. Um, Hard shots, and Taylor trying to get things going in a positive direction. And again, kicks, punches, and basic things there. It's simple and pretty basic match, but a good match in the sense of Terry Taylor as a babyface here. Still decent enough. Clotheslines over the top rope by Dutch Mantel. Mantel gets a good bit of time out of this match. Taylor comes back in, tries to get things going back in his general direction, and is pretty assertive, aggressive in doing so, although not exactly the best of situations. Needless to say, we've got a win for Terry Taylor with the 5-arm. Soon after the run of the match here, and they're plugging the pay-per-view for the following Saturday, the Halloween Havoc pay-per-view, on the 27th of October, right before, well, Halloween. Second in the Halloween Havoc series, Sid in an enhancement match here, getting ready for his match with Sting. Completely pulling away at, or actually, before we get to Sid, we got Moondog Rex. Moondog Rex in a enhancement match here. And I mean, Moondog Rex, a guy they have brought back for a while. I think he was going to be one of the original Desperado gimmick, had that gimmick taken off a little bit more, but that doesn't come together in the way that everybody intended. Enhancement talent does take a couple of downward runs with the adversary and very basic punch kick type stuff. There is a post-match promo with Moondog Rex, and Rex kind of gets things going his way, gets a victory with a torture rack after, or a Samoan drop after a lariat, and Moondog Rex. Pretty basic, as it were. I don't know, because the angle never really went anywhere, I don't know what the continuation for him was. And then we get a couple of, little bit of brawling with the Z-Man and Z-Man Tom Zink out there. We also see the Renegade Warriors returning a little bit, and they are involved in things. Needless to say, actually, not Zink. Instead, it's Alan Iron Eagle, and he's in an enhancement match. He gets worn down a little bit. I don't know much about the character in the sense that they didn't really do a great job in commentary giving run, and also, he's kind of only here for a little while in 1990, less than a year as a character, so that's kind of there. Alan Iron Eagle finally does get a win with a cross body, as it were. Then we go to the Nasty Boys getting ready for their World Tag Team Championship match at the pay-per-view. Also, Ricky Morton and Tommy Rich teaming together because the Freebirds had taken out Robert Gibson. I believe a real-life knee injury takes him out of action for the remainder of 1990 and into midpoint, maybe spring 1991, but he's out for a while. Hip lock and arm bars by Gibson. Gibson doing the majority of the work because Tommy Rich just is not in good shape here in 1990, continuing to try and get things off the ground and ultimately managing to get things going in a positive direction. Jerry Sags managing to get the run of things here, and again, very basic punch kick, very basic maneuvers and attempted roll-ups by none other than the benefit of Ricky Morton. Morton again doing the majority of the match, and eventually we see a double team. The roll-up blocked off by the Nasty Boys, and ultimately getting things going in a more positive direction for them, cheating to win. Go to a wrestling wrap-up with Gordon Solie. Gordon Solie kind of throwing to some interviews. The Horsemen promised to eradicate Doom once and for all. And Sting basically says that he's not thrilled about getting attacked by Sid previously, but that he will, in fact, take care of Sid. Sid basically says he's the master and ruler of the world, and he's going to be the world champion after Halloween Havoc. Interesting that they never really went anywhere too terribly wonderful with that deal. The Midnight Express out here with Jim Cornette, of course. Midnight Express, Stan Lane, and Bobby Eaton. Lane and Eaton kind of continuing to be a major tag team, at least through this point in 1990, although they end up leaving very early in 91 or right around this time. Needless to say, the Midnight Express are a phenomenal team, and obviously one of the best tag teams of all time, if not the best tag team of all time. Young Bucks, yeah, right. Anyway, so an enhancement match here. Tommy Angel and Bret Holiday are their opponents, and obviously, as always, the Midnight Express bringing the most out of their adversaries. Bobby Eaton does the vast majority of the match. They hit the double run. Tommy Angel actually ends up being a guy who really gets a good bit of attention at the time. The Freebirds, though, manage to get a run of things there, and ultimately we kind of see the double team leapfrog into a lariat by the Midnight Express, and then the top rope elevated knee drop by Bobby Eaton, and again a good win for the Midnight Express here in 1990, when they are about to be thrown away, for lack of a better term. Then we move to another in series of matches here, and that happens to be the Juicer. The Juicer, of course, Art Barr, doing a Beetlejuice gimmick because Ted Turner at the time owning that I guess the movie franchise, whatever. Needless to say, or the rights to the movie at the very least. Beetlejuice comes in. J.D. Wolf is his opponent, his enhancement opponent. Nothing really to be written home about there. Tries to choke the Juicer out. I guess the Juicer would have been a cool gimmick in 1990 if I was into the horror films, but he manages a top rope crossbody, among other things. Gets a pretty decisive victory there. Norman the Lunatic on the outside helping him around. And then we go to J.W. Storm against Leroy Brown. And so J.W. Storm beating him up pretty good around the run, slam on the floor, other basic maneuvers, nothing ultimately to be written home about, but at the same time manages to get things going there and gets things together. Needless to say, we see Tracy Smothers and Scott Armstrong, the Young Pistols, aka the Wild-Eyed Southern Boys, managing to have a good run there. Drop kicks under the chin by Steve Armstrong. And I mean, Steve Armstrong, probably a guy who at a national level never got the level of respect he deserved, but manages to get, a good enough deal here. And as mentioned, kind of a good run. The Wild-Eyed Southern Boys still not fully in their program with the Midnight Express yet, although that program does come and probably ends out 1990. They have had a few matches, but not a full-fledged program yet, although that's coming very, very quickly. Super kicks by Tracy Smothers along the way on the enhancement talents, and ultimately, as would be expected, your Wild-Eyed Southern Boys are victorious, and we move to the next in series. We'll be back with more right after this.